Aha, it's Lil Baby.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ihram, host of Conversations with Chai, aka Little Baby Ram Ram. I've had Suede on my show a couple before. He was one of the first people to do it, so really excited to be here with you all. Yo, how much is one of these? How much is one of these?
You can ask Swift Copy. At Swift Copy, they did all of our paperwork, and I mean, this is phenomenal. I love this.
No, how much is a Verne? Because these chairs feel real good.
That's how I know Suede is getting to the bag.
$99, no tax, shipping included.
But no, I definitely want to first of all welcome everyone here. Thank you guys for putting this event together. I think we should definitely give a round of applause for our host because I think it's always super cool when people like Suede, like Salaar put these things together for our community, right? All the vendors, right, are people within the community, all the comics, people within our community, people who support. So it's super cool of you guys to put this together for us, obviously, for this launch. But thank you guys.
Absolutely. We're so happy to do it. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Yeah.
So I'm just going to get to the question that I have, and I've asked Suede before. How? Why? Why a board game? Or how a board game?
Absolutely. So, for all of you who don't know, I am the director of game design for Verne, and Suede is our creative director. And so the story of how we got into this is a long time ago when we were very young. Our families, they immigrated here, and only two families after moving to this area moved to Connecticut, my family and his family. And so we had to figure something out in order to get both of our families, to really get along, something to bring us all together. And so Suede, when he was a young kid, super creative, would make little board games out of cardboard and out of little random components. And I loved playing them growing up. We would literally create our own worlds. And so I'm in college now. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for a few years. Some of my players from my campaign are here. Oh, geez, right. Yes, absolutely, yeah. People I've been playing with since I was in high school. We were playing D&D for 6+ years. I go to college and I'm still playing Dungeons and Dragons. COVID happens and I'm sitting at home all alone. I'm sure we were all there at some point, sitting there I'm degenerating every moment. Like, please help me. And so I thought, I really love Dungeons and Dragons. What if I made a version of it that literally anybody in this room could play, whether you're a nerd like me, super into random fantasy board games, or someone who's never touched one. And so I threw together just a little, out of cardboard and scraps and paper. And so one day, so he's in dental school, I think at this time, and he stops by, my house just to check up on me. I'm like, listen, I've got the greatest thing to show you. Remember those games that we used to play when we were little kids that you used to make out of the construction paper? I saw that. He reposted on his Instagram or something. I saw it and I was like, what if I made a version, something like that? And so, how'd you feel when you saw that?
Okay, so it was in a tomato box, and I was like, all right, buddy. Mind you, so remember, we're family friends, so we're like cousins, right? This is my blood right there, basically, because we're immigrants. We don't have other family in the States like that. And so we have a 5-year difference. I want to say 5, 6. So when he shows it to me, you look at it like your little brother. You're like, it's so nice. But then he starts explaining it. And he starts explaining the rules. And you got battling, you got picking up equipment. I know a lot of people pre-ordered the game, so you've already played it. You've got spells, you've got different avenues of winning. And that's what really got me. There's no one straightforward way to win the game. And then we played it with my sister and his sister, and we was dying, laughing. My sister's in the corner with a box over her head, rocking in a corner. I have that video on my phone right now. And I was like, all right, you got something. It looks really bad, but you got something. So then I was like, yeah, let's link up. Let's do something with it, right? And then for like 3-4 months straight, every day after dental school, I would see my patients, 2 hours, I would just draw. I would go on Autodesk Sketchbook and just draw every single aspect, every single piece. I would get people in dental school to play it and give me a little feedback. We added a dragon space. We added a kraken space, or an arena space. This game became so fun. And so since then, we've just been playing iterations. That's how we got where we at. If that answered your question.
No. Definitely answers my question, and I love that. I don't want to like overlook like that part of it too, right? The fact that y'all took like something that y'all did as kids, right, and executed into a real business, a real game, right? Like, let's not overlook that. Like, to take something that's like a true passion and get the artwork, get the packaging, right, get real people playing the game is a huge deal for y'all. So, like, first of all, obviously, like, we're here for the launch of these two, right? Like, big ups to them. And so kind of on that breath, right? So like when you're like looking at this, right, now you're like, yo, this is a real game, right? How does it go from, okay, like this is something that like we're enjoying playing, right, to, okay, how do we get this to market and how do we get other people to hop on this game, right? How do we create a community around this game?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So I think that for us, it all comes down to that controlling purpose of why we're doing this, right? I think that in any endeavor that you have, if you're not doing it because you have a genuine passion for it, it's so much harder for it to blow up or go anywhere. And I think that, I'm speaking for only people who've met me, but I think that everybody in this room who's met myself or Suede, who's played our game, who's come to a game night, or even tangentially heard us talking about this, can just see the genuine passion and love that we have for this game. And I think it's infectious. Right, I think like when you love something so much and you're so proud of it, people can see that. They're like, I want to be part of that pride. I want to be part of this becoming a reality. This becoming a reality for all of you, right? Because, yeah.
Sorry, 1 second. I think what you're asking is how we actually made the game. Is that what you're asking?
Both.
Yeah.
Right, like how you emotionally get to it, right? Like, create this from like hey, this is like something that we do to an actual product, but then also the actual business, right? Like, how do we
get where we
take this thing in a tomato box and make it like
that's
a real tomato box,
tomato box.
How do we take this tomato box and make it like a real thing?
So that I can think, that absolutely we can both speak to. The first thing I always do, and I think now whoever knows me knows, you get connected to the right people. First and foremost, okay? Same thing with this event. You get connected to the right sponsors with the right attitudes and all that stuff that want to connect. You do that. So that's the first thing I did. First thing I did, I went to Abdul. Okay, he's around here. Tall, glasses. He's in the back. Okay, why did I go to him? Because I knew his day job was working with logistics and manufacturing. Because when you have a physical product, what do you have to do next? Figure out how to make it at a mass scale. First, okay? Now we're working together. In the meantime, I think we use board game crafter. We use a blacksmith, a metal blacksmith to make the coins, okay? Yeah, that's why that shit's so heavy. $99, but that shit weighs, right?
Yeah, y'all thought Suede was about to put out a product that he wasn't like super hype about. Like, come on,
no
like, look
way,
at this coin, right?
no
Like,
way.
of course you would go to the metal guy to get a metal coin.
I'm trying to source some metal, please. I need 150 coins.
Your finest forge.
Exactly, and he forged that for us, and that's what we had. So I think tangents, every aspect needs to be thought out of, right? We went back and forth on just numbers. How much did this cost? How much did that cost? What value is the spell card gonna do?
Right. The amount of time that went into balancing this game, right? I think part of our journey has been perfecting the product, because I think there's two things to really bring something to this level. You have to have the right people, but you also have to have the right product, right? Because we could get it in front of all the people who are here today, in front of everybody who's ordered, but if you don't like it at the end of the day, if you don't have fun, it's not going anywhere, right? And so I think we were spending countless hours. I was playing it with I have some of my friends from UConn over here who literally spent hours and hours playing this game, each time tweaking tiny little things. And then we eventually came over here. We both were based in New York, and every week now we're going out and we're hosting board game nights, right? Where we're tapping anybody we can and say, hey, I know you bring 2-3 friends, come try our product, come try our game. And the first game night we had 5 people?
Literally 4 people.
4 people, enough to play a game.
4 people.
4 people showed up. And eventually, a few months in, we were getting 15, 20. We were saying, I'm sorry, we need you to come next week because we can't do it this week. And so that authentic growth is sign of both that good product and leveraging those connections that we had. So I think that's the recipe that you need.
No, for sure, right? Like to 4 to how many? 100?
Yeah, 108
plus right now, right? Like that's crazy. Like, and I think that's like a testament to y'all and like the team that you guys have. Like I got on a logistics call with these guys like a couple of days ago, and I was like, damn. So we got like a little army here, right? But that's really what it takes. Like we overlook these things. Like obviously there's already existing games in the space, Dungeons and Dragons, but people building within our community and building it the way that these guys are, bro, sourcing the metal, right? Like literally from ground up. And that's like not something that should be like taken like very lightly, right? Like every aspect of this game and how it exists is a testament to these guys and y'all team for putting it together, right? The metal chips, the artwork, right? Even an event like this obviously takes so much manpower and just straight up like, and bro, these guys are like doing this on the side, right? But it's important, right? Because when we talk about like the things that we support and the things that we buy, right? It should be things from our community, right? Like it's cool that Dungeons and Dragons and all these exist, right? And we've been giving money to them for years, right? But especially with everything going on in the world, having something within our own community that we could support, it's everything, right? It's like the board game, it's the chai, it's the bubble tea, right? It's everything up and down, right? So y'all are adding to that in a very, very distinct way. So I want to make sure that everybody kind of like gets that. And yo, let's actually just like quickly like, yo, who is the Verne team? Because like I'm like meeting everybody right now, and I'm like, damn, there's a lot of them right now.
Yeah. So just like this game is set up, I have a team of like go-getters, leaders, right? So we have us, you know us. You've just met the woman who put this event together, Sarish over there. So, mind you, this is a woman-owned company if anyone has any grants. Okay? But yes, so how Sarish came on the team was exactly like everything else, organic. She played. She loved it. She played a second time. She loved it a second time. She played a third time. She texted me, I was thinking about this strategy. How would this go? I'm like, oh, okay. Now, just by word of mouth, when we're doing Verne Wednesdays, when I have the game, she's selling the game. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, she's like, yeah, one of my friends wanted to buy it. Cool, here's the link. Hey, another one of my friends wants to buy it. Oh, here's the link. Okay, so you have someone who is genuinely invested in the game, who is already doing work, which I imagine, like, once everyone gets the boxes, that's what's going to happen. But she's doing that even before that. So I sat down. I was like, Sarish, would you want to join the team? You have a passion. You have skill. That's another thing. Remember what I said. The people you need to put on your team, they can be your friends. That's totally fine. I don't mind that. But your friends need to have the skills to put you in the position, right?
And they got to believe in the thing, right? Like the Sarish for like really organically believing the product, right? Like it's not about, like I think a lot of us like looked at things and be like, yo, like I just want to be a part of it because it's cool and popping, right? But like, yo, to see and actually play the game and be like, yo, no, I'm just a fan of this game, right? I'm invested in the success of the game because when we build out teams, right, we look for our friends to support it, right? But that's cool. Your friends got to love the product as much as you guys do. Yeah. Everybody on the team got to love the product, especially early on building anything. There's no money in this, right?
Exactly.
Time. There's no real return as of now, right?
As of now.
But
if you believe in it, there's return.
And if you believe in it, you can actually create the thing, right? If you don't genuinely believe in it, you can't actually market it. The reason that she's probably super effective at getting people to buy it, she really believes in it.
Exactly. And then we have everyone else in their positions, because a lot of people then come to the fact that your friends, your community want to support you. If you pour into the community, they'll pour back into you, right? So we have Shop on the raffle table, you know? He's doing great. We have Eamon and his team. They're doing our audio visual, right? We have Saudi taking pictures. We have good. She's a monster. Whoa. For another purposes, Rania is very good, mashallah. There it is. She's a killer, right? So it's adding these value add members to the team that then people just want to help out. Every person who walked in that door, who bought a ticket, hey bro, congratulations to you guys for the event. What can I do to help out? Can I get chairs for you? Can I set this up for you? Can I put this somewhere? That's what we are looking for in a community. That's what you're looking for someone who supports your product, and that's who you want around you.
No, and like on that, like, yo, shout out to y'all for coming out for this, right? Because that is what Suede is talking about, right? Like having a community. Because like it's so cool that like on a Saturday, right? We live in New York. There's like a billion things to do, right? But on a Saturday, you chose to invest in your people, your community, right? The same way that they're investing into you. And it's important that we continue to show up for each other in that way, right? I like kind of alluded to it earlier, right? But the fact that your entire lineup, the comedians, the vendors, right? Even Tap and Me, to build it within your community, right? Like Suede could have had anybody do a founders panel, right? But like he was like, yo, like I want to do this within my community, right? So like I think that's like super important and is going to be a big reason and has already been a big reason for Verne's success, right? Like to afford a launch event, right?
Absolutely. I think like, you know, when I think about who is the Verne team, right? Of course we have us, right? Myself, Sherish, Abdul, etc. But really it's everybody in this room, right? Because this could literally have not have been a reality without each and every one of you supporting us and believing in us, right? Like this really is a team of people who all want to see not just us succeed, but want to see everybody in our community succeed, right? And we're all really just here to try and uplift each other. And so I really do see everybody in this room as part of the Verne team. And you know, with your boxes, we have a little letter that we wrote, but it's important for you all to know that like we really do thank each and every one of you for being a part of this, because sitting here with all these beautiful decorations with these amazing people, it could not have happened if each and every one of you did not believe in us. So we really, really appreciate that.
Wow, for sure. Yeah. All right. So, like, let's get to the things that I really care about. Like, all right, how do we grow this, right? Because, like, yo, it's cool that we were able to do this event or y'all were able to do this event for 100 people, right? But I don't want Verne to stop in New York or our community, right? Like, I want the community to grow, right? Because that should be the goal. So, like, what are we talking? Now you guys have this is obviously the launch event. You guys have physical copies.
Yes.
People can now go out and just buy the game, right?
Yes.
Nobody has to hit up Suede for his copy.
No.
All right. So, like, okay. So, like, now how do we take that the next year? Like, what does that look like for y'all?
Okay, so the next year, this is what he's talking about. This is where the team comes in, okay? The best part about this is it's not just New York. We went to DC. We went to Boston. I have people in LA. I have people in Houston. They bought copies. Think of it like the next COVID. Honestly, that's what I wanted. I want you to stay inside your house with Verne, in your room, with your family, no contact with anybody else. But that's what I'm saying. Like, these boxes are now going to go to different cities. And what is this? This is a board game you need to play with 3 other people. That is our first creation of doubling the market and scaling. It's truly user-generated content. I want everyone who picks up a box today to go play immediately. I want you to go play. I want you to go take photos. I want you to take videos. I want you to share with someone you care about. Share with 3 people you care about, okay? Then that scaling is happening already. Cool. Now we have this like just a nice steady stream, because again, 100% of what you are buying is going right back into the company. Thankfully, we have day jobs. Thankfully, God bless us with day job, so we can really put every single cent back into here, okay? 1. 2, yeah, there may be an investment route looking forward, right? We don't know how that looks like yet. We do want to keep a lot of the team internal, keep the equity to ourselves, because what's the point of making a community-led thing if then the community doesn't lead it?
Or if the community doesn't own it, right? Or if the community doesn't own it, right?
Exactly.
Like, let's again, like y'all doing a big service, and there's a lot of y'all I know like building out in this community of ours, right? Whether it be you're a writer, whether you be a photographer, like Amon, videographer, right? It's important that like y'all also continue to own it, right? Because that's how, like, as soon as somebody realizes like, yo, this is a cool game, those conversations are gonna come up, be like, yo, Suede, like I want it, right? And then Suede could easily be like, you know what, quick paycheck. But I love hearing the fact that like that's like not the mindset, right? The mindset is to build from this community, right? Because any of us could just go out, get a bag, and be like, all right, like I'm done, I'm paid for, right? But the fact that you're not relying on this for a check puts y'all in a position where it's like, okay, like the community can continue to own this, right? Because otherwise, who cares, right? Like you did this for a year, you sold it off to somebody, you made a little bit of money, right? And then
Exactly.
And
Right.
like and that's like the type of like long-term thinking that I'm glad that we are hearing from these founders, right? Because that's really like the thing that takes our communities forward, right? Like we don't own enough to actually push those things forward. So love hearing that. So like, in terms of like sharing it, everybody share it first of all. Everybody should have already posted that y'all were already at this event, right? Because I know y'all be posting yourselves out like whatever, house like whatever, and I love that.
Yeah.
But we gotta share this too. Like we should be constantly be sharing that. So in terms of like the next year and potentially taking on finances, how are you guys structuring that as like leaders, right? Because you guys do have like a team, right? Like how are you setting the tone from hey, like this is our company now? Because that's what it is, right? Like you guys are the heads and faces of a true company now, right?
Correct. Like we recently incorporated, so we're super excited about that. And I think the next steps forward are really, our goal has never been profit, right? Like if we were doing this for profit, we would have done things so differently, but I think that it says something that the quality of the product and the quality of experience that each one of you has always come first. And so the next year, we're focusing on that, right? Where how can we get this game to every single person who wants that kind of experience, right? Because one of the big things, I mentioned this before, is that we want this game to be for literally everybody, right? If you're a casual game player, we want you to have a casual, fun, easy gaming experience. If you're really intense and you're a veteran person who's been playing every board game in the world, there's still something you can get in this game because you can make it as deep as you want. So this truly can appeal to every single person. The only next step is getting it in front of them. We thoroughly believe that once you see this product, once you have gotten a taste of it, you're like, okay, I see this. And so that's, again, where we're leveraging this community, leveraging our connections, right? We want to start going to board game conventions. We want to start working with influencers in both our community and the board game community. We just want as many eyes on this as possible. Because once you see it, you're like, wow, this is amazing. I want to be a part of this. And so that's what the next year looks like on a business end, right? It's how can we start scaling in terms of getting it in front of as many eyes as possible, because the product we truly believe is as close to perfect as it's going to get, right? We have lots of awesome new things for you guys planned on the product side, right? More content, more media. But the priority is that make sure that everybody who gets their copy of Verne is so happy with it that they want everybody to have it in their home, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think like, for y'all, and the thing that I'm want to key in on here, right, is the part where it's like, it's not just about staying within love our community and love what we build, right? But it's about then expanding it. So like, I love how this room looks, right? By the way, like all of y'all, right? Like such different, diverse backgrounds. And that's how it should be, right? As you guys continue to expand, we have to then evolve from just our community, right? It should be like people outside of our community that want this, right? Like we've seen that, right? Like we've seen things that started off in like the South Asian space, right? Whether it be people like a Hassan, a Lily, right? That have started off in our space. But now it's like everybody in the world, whether it be a daily show, wants them, right? And hopefully that comes to be for Verne as well, right? Like it's cool that people within our community are playing this within New York, but like I want people outside of that. This should be mainstream, right? Like and people look at that as like a negative thing, right? Like no, that's how we make it, right? Like that's how we get like, our community is on the face of that. Just a random question because I asked Suede earlier, who is the best Verne player?
Not me.
It's like neither of the founders, right? No. Okay.
The way we wanted to do it was, if you were a veteran at the game, you would win every time. How much fun is that? Like that was the big problem with Monopoly. Once you get ahead enough, you can't catch up. In Verne, you can always catch up. Your 2-3 good moves, good lies, good backstabbings from changing the entire landscape. 2 spells, 2 turns, I've seen people flip the entire board. And that's what it is. But you asked me, it's on video, but I'm going to say it again. Okay? 1, Samir.
Samir.
Oh, mashallah. That is why he's a good player.
He's praying right now. He's like, let me win the next 2 games of Verne.
Exactly. That's what it is. Nasty. Nader, over there in the glasses, super nasty. Don't let him fool you. He'll do the interesting.
You got the glasses too, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Sarah, she's really, really good, but now she's focusing on internal stuff. So I took her out the game. I was like, close your laptop. enough winning. But that's the ones that I know for sure. Amir plays dirty, so play with him, but don't let him play you. And I think that's we got a winner over here. She laughing a little too hard. But those are the ones for mine.
And then one person I got a special shout out to is my guy Aleem back in college. When this game, before even Suede saw it, before anybody before it, when I was just like, do it together, this guy would run me every single time. I would like, oh man, I made the rules. He knew him better than me. After playing twice, I'm like, and he's like, yo, actually, no, this spell card does this, right? I'm like, I guess you're right, bro. Like, God, oh my God, man. And
that's beautiful though, right? Because that's what you want as founders, right? Like, it's like, yo, it's cool that like, yo, y'all know the game and y'all passionate about it. But like, to get people that like care so much more about your game is like, that's how you know you have like a real product, right? It's like, yo, like my knowledge has been surpassed by somebody who's just a fan of the game, right? Like, because like you look at anything, like it's like, yo, like anybody who has like a business, you're like, oh, it's cool that you are a fan of your business. But when other people are so fanatic about your business, like that's when it becomes like, oh, this is a real thing, right? You guys have gotten to the point where it's like, oh, like this is a real thing. Like people genuinely and legitimately care so deeply about this. So I think, first of all, I want to thank you guys for absolutely having me. But we want to give some time to everybody in the audience. We're going to do a audience Q&A for the next like 10-ish minutes. If you have a question, I believe we're going to be handing out a mic. But you can just raise your hand and then somebody will find a mic for y'all. Y'all can ask any questions unless, they have any limitations. This way's an open book. He'll answer anything.
Yeah. Whatever.
Congrats on everything. Okay, so we heard about the community support. What were some like roadblocks that you guys had building this out and growing this?
Yeah. So I think one big thing was, this is like the passion of ours, but we also bouncing this like I really like my personal way, right? It's like graduating college, figuring out working, becoming, doing all these things. We had times where like we had to deprioritize this, but every time that it got to that point where I was like, oh man, this is like realized I have true passion for this, right? And I think that like finding a way to do the things you love and prioritizing them can be really difficult, right? I'm sure all of us have lines where, maybe we all have a job that we love doing, right? Maybe it takes a lot out of us, but finding a little bit of time every single day to like just do something that you really truly enjoy, it's a really hard thing to do. It's a really challenging balance for me to find, right? But I think that I needed to find that in order to make this what it is today. So I speak for myself there, but I think that's really the most important thing, is finding that personal balance to be able to do this passion of mine, right?
No, it's important, right? Like, because that is, especially as this is a side thing, right? For y'all to even put in the time outside of the things that you're already doing outside of your personal lives, it's like not something to be taken lightly, right? And it is the opening challenge for any person trying to open up like a real legitimate business. But
for me, the obstacle, you may know, I don't really have that much of a challenge balancing things. I've been seen everywhere on these streets for sure. But my obstacle has always been, how do I get people to understand the game quickly? It's not, fortunately, unfortunately, this is not a product where I can make a 3-second TikTok video and be like, wow, look how this cleans this thing. Oh my God, this sink is clean. Buy this. It's not that. You have to play. You have to play. You have to understand for 5 minutes. So my obstacle throughout this whole project, or this whole business, has been, how do I get my community, my friends, the people who are invested in this game, to understand it quickly and fall in love with it the way we have. And that's what I think, like an obstacle of getting sponsors, right? How does a sponsor understand this game if they haven't played it? Like, that's another thing. Guess who asked for it? Geek. Guess who asked for it? Chat. We had events at their locations, and they loved it there. But when you keep growing, and K Ultra, they just shot at K Ultra. Their coffee houses are right around the corner. Throw it at the beginning of the mic. They never played it, but you know what they are? They're fans of board games. So they took a chance on us. But that has always been the obstacle for something like Verne, which requires a minimum of 30 to 60 minutes before you're like, damn, this is good. Now I have to tell people. That was my obstacle.
Thanks.
Hello? Okay. First, I just want to say congratulations, you two. Like, it's been years coming, so I'm very proud. Yeah, I'm very, very proud of you guys, and I'm sure everybody in this room is very proud of you and has some attachment to Verne. You know, I have been harassing you guys so long about this day, so alhamdulillah, but...
I changed the rules for this guy. I changed the rules for him, yes.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about the quest points. So, you know, finally the game is out. So now people can have access to it. We're going to see it played more. A lot of people are going to invite their friends. We're going to start expanding the community. I wanted to ask, do you guys have a timeline in mind now that the game is finally out there? Do you guys have plans for expansion? Are you guys focusing on building the community right now? And are you guys going to, you know, build upon like different cards and, you know, what's the next steps for you guys?
Well, of course, Amir would ask this question. He's fiending for more Verne, which we love to hear. But I you know, as the director of game design, I am constantly looking at ways to not just improve Verne itself, the game, but to create more amazing content for you all. You know, we definitely see more expansions of Verne coming in the future, more cards, right? Equipment, spells, item that will change the game in even more interesting ways. And all of you who got the Founders Edition, you guys are actually getting the deluxe version of the game. The base game that we're eventually going to be selling, you know, when we, inshallah, go to like mass market, right? It's not going to have as much content as you guys are getting. These metal coins, these really high quality components, it's for all of you for being with us at the beginning, right? But there's only more content that we're going to create. And, you know, our vision is not just a board game, right? Our vision is making other forms of media, right? Whether it be card games, whether it be other things. We want Verne to not just be, you know, the Lost Lands of Verne, right? We want to be a whole entire, you know, conglomerate of media. And so that vision is going to take first this taking off and people really believing in this and falling in love with this. And so we're so excited to make more content for you. And I think that it's never just making content or just growing our community. It happens together, right? we give you more things to love and enjoy, and you give us more love in return.
Right. So a cool thing about this game, and I want everyone to really think about where the basis of this game is. Why I was so down right from the second hour since he showed me, is because this game is a story. It is lore. It is not Monopoly. It is not chess. You don't buy it once and have the same rule set. That's the most important thing, which I think is important for scale. If I show this to an investor, I'm like, this is my board game. Like Uno, you play one way, right? And then they came up with expansions. You have a 52 card. Poker is played one way, right? You can play other card games. With Verne, the story will ever be expanding. We don't have to stop with one board. We can add an expansion to the board. And I told you this during the time we played, like, imagine you beat the dragon, for those who played, and the dragon opens up another board. And now you have 10 more tiles to explore, but you couldn't until you beat the dragon, and the dragon opens a cave, and now you have the whole underground. Think of it like that. It's a lore, it's a story, it's ever changing. The new equipment, new spell cards, whatever the case is, they will come with storyline. Every character in the game comes with storyline. The pack you're getting right now, whoever bought it, whoever pre-ordered, it comes with an expansion booklet that tells you why your characters are who they are. Why does the barbarian get to roll twice? Why does the mage get to do what they do? There's storyline behind it. And once we expand, inshallah, we will get writers, and we'll get artists, and we'll get media people. Maybe we turn into a comic book. Maybe we come up with TV shows. Maybe we make a Lost Lands of Verne movie. The idea is what it is because it's so malleable.
It is a story, and stories are forever.
Wow. Middle button.
Hello. Hey, okay, so 2 questions. Congratulations. I remember my first Verne Wednesday was actually when I met a couple of people who I know and love today. Shout out Amal, Shaima, Rania, wherever she is. Hey, girl. So about the name Lost Lands of Verne, how was the process of going? What was that about to happen? Okay. Okay. How's the process of coming up with the names of the characters, and did you run into any perhaps legality or copyright issues, because this game does share similarities with a bunch of others that were mentioned?
Absolutely. So the name Verne, the Lost Lands of Verne, this whole concept. Like I said, when I was in high school, I used to play Dungeons and Dragons. Like I said, some of my players are here who played in that Dungeons and Dragons game. And for those who don't know, these Dungeons and Dragons games are not a one-night thing. The story continues over years. We played for what? How many? 6 years?
7 years.
7 years. We played one continuous game every week, right? That would took place in this world of Verne, right? And so each one of every single item card, equipment card in this game, right? The Kentari glaive, the charm of might. These are all items that maybe one of their characters used in the game they found. And then I was like, wow, that's super cool. One of them came up with it. I was like, okay, let me take this and use it. Each one of these items and all these names, all the characters, every location name that you see on there has been in the making for 7 years, right? This is the creative, combination of my own creativity, but of my players who I've been playing with. And of course, Suede's creative direction, taking all of this and making it cohesive, making it, visualizing it, right? Sketching out what these things would look like. They were always on paper, but taking all of that and making it real, it's taking a very long time, right? But that, I think you all can see that, right? That you see the creativity, everything. And so it's taking a lot of effort, but it's all from here and from the minds of our players. So copyright's never been a problem because, we all made it ourselves, 100%. So.
We have time for just one more question. So if anyone has one. But dude. I need to read. I'm swagging. Proud Cokes and big tongue. Just because met the other little thing.
That was so long, 4 seconds, and I'm like,
That way to me. Second thought. So it looked better.
Hello, okay.
Suede, when I first found out that Suede, when I first found out you were making a game, I was like, man, that's dope. But like, board games aren't really in no more. I feel like big board games, Monopoly thing, whatever it is, everybody's into video games or anything virtual or digital. So why did that not stop? Board games just aren't really popular.
I agree. I actually do agree, but then it comes down to you ever have a gut feeling? Sometimes you just need to follow the gut feeling, then you do your research afterwards sometimes. I had a gut feeling. After I played that game, I had a gut feeling it does not matter how much screens we have, how much VR we go into, or whatever the case is. We as people are evolved to be a community. We survive as community, right? That's the only way we had to help each other raise children in villages. Sometimes we were nomadic, but the way we would survive was never alone. That is primal. So when people play Verne, they get primal, right? That's what I see more than anything. And the thing is, I had so many people from so many different backgrounds. I had people from the streets play this game, right? I had models play this game. I had photographers. I had artists, right? I had finance bros, okay? We had a lot of representation from different communities, and not one time did they not fall into the game, right? I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. The reason I did pre-orders, the reason we moved into the pre-order phase last March was this story, and I love telling this story. I'm at Sarish's place. We're catching up. 10 p.m. at night. It's Brooklyn. I gotta go home soon. Everyone knows I sleep at 11 o'clock. So I get a text from Enon. He's one of my friends who played. He's like, hey, I have some boys over. We started playing Catan and it got too boring. Can you bring Verne over? Follow-up text. I know it's almost 11 o'clock. You can just drop it and go home. And then I thought to myself, he don't want me there. He just wants the game there. And it's better than Catan. And he's got like all sorts of people at his house. Then I play with our friends. 4 of the most beautiful women who model every day. They got into it. They got a little bit too into it. They started pointing fingers. They started lying to each other. And I was like, if it's better than Catan, and you don't want either of us there, then why is this not in your hands already? And that following March, from November to March, we just was like, all right, how do we get this to reality? How do we start pre-ordering? How do we set up a website? Let's do it. And that's that. That's how Verne came to be.
As you guys can tell, these 2 guys, their team, truly believe in the product that they've now brought to market, and that's like a big fucking deal. So first of all, shout out to you guys. And obviously, hopefully you guys can tell that your community really do believe in you, right? And believe in y'all and believe in the product that you guys have created. So, thank you everyone for coming. I'm Ihram, host of Conversations with Chai.
Huge applause.
Thank you.
For Conversation with Chai. The show is great. You need to watch it. It's not the episode with this guy, but every other episode is great.
No, but thank you guys. And let's make some noise for Verne, right?
Absolutely.